these wonderful snippets and things that we can give back to the audience. So we're truly grateful. I just think we're waiting for one more. I think Britt is coming in.
It's great. I've told everybody on the Discord channel, and we're getting everything together. But it's really nice, and I think this topic very much complements what we're trying to do. Oh, wait a minute! You've started live streaming in my ear. This is really good news.
I think Brittany's waiting to get in too.
Fantastic. Yeah, so because suddenly I heard Lee live streaming over YouTube, and I was looking at you going, you're not talking, are you? Anyway, therein lies a social media lesson about live streaming.
Yeah, exactly.
But these more intimate sessions, I think they can add a lot more value, and we can get a lot more out of them. Of course, tomorrow we got the mega agenda. We go from 8 in our morning all the way to 10 in our night. You're very welcome. But this, I think, will be a treat. And the kindness games. Where's Tim? Where's Tim gone? Overtime. Yeah. No. I think. Yeah. You know what I mean? Oh wait. Brittany. Yeah,
Brittany is getting quite abusive to you, Phelan. She's like, "Hey, let me in. Come on, knock knock."
There we go. I think it adds a lot more value. Hello, Brittany. Welcome.
There she is.
All right.
Perfect. Here. Well, you're live streaming, so I'll send that to you so you can post it. This is much more of an intimate session. It's not the big, catastrophically enormous agenda tomorrow. This is real value, and it's your secret sauce.
It is. Yeah, we're looking forward to sharing our secret sauce. Who is actually on with us at the moment, Phelan? Do we have many people in the audience? I'd love to know. I'm curious.
Okay, so we've got Ali and Farouk, who are from Iraq, Issa from Senegal, Joshua, I've forgotten where you're from, Joshua, Karam, Michael, Miranda's here, Pascal's here from Germany, and more people are coming in, because what we've done, we've had a massive break as we've been with the IFPO event, and now we're starting up for our evening afternoon. So
fantastic. So should we let a few more people merge across before we actually kick into this session? Is that okay with you?
Yeah, you can. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're up to at the moment?
You should say, what aren't we up to? I think is would be the better way to frame that question. Well, I mean, as a group, and when I say group, these guys that you can see in front of you today are amazing professionals and champions in their own right. And the wonderful thing is that we've actually grown as extremely close friends. And a lot of us, help, mentor, coach, and support one another. And that was one of the reasons that we brought the GSD crew together, because we wanted to bring some great minds. We love the industry. We're super passionate about what the industry gives to us. And we're all extremely creative and innovative. And we just want to give back. That's our true purpose. We didn't form the GSD crew to be liked or to get a pat on the back. We truly formed the GSD crew to give back to everybody else, to give to the industry, to accelerate the industry forward, as quickly, proactively and positively as we can. And that's where, the things like the kindness games, the GSD crew, GSD talks. My lovely wife, she just made an appearance in the back. She bought me a delightful hot cup of coffee. So I thank her for that. So everybody always needs a loved one or a friend to look after them, right? Anyway, I digress. So what we're up to at the moment, we have got so much on. I don't want to go into it too much, because that will steal a lot of information that we're going to share on the session, and that we want to give, to everybody. And also we're going to share at the end, what the GSD crew is looking forward to doing in the future. In a minute, Phelan, what I would love to do is introduce, or let everybody introduce themselves. And of course, I'll always say ladies first, because I want everybody in the audience to know, who we are, what we're all about. And they'll also just share a quick story about themselves as well. Are you cool for that, for us to start off now?
Yeah, absolutely. Please do. I'll make myself scarce, but I'll be in the background. And I've just sent both yourself and Brittany the live link in case you want that somewhere else.
Brilliant. Also, if anybody wants to, because we're all about audience engagement and interaction, if anybody in the audience wants to ask a question at any time, I'd love for us to be able to invite them up, put their cameras on and ask their questions. If they want to do that, if they don't want to do that and they're a little bit more introvert, then cool, just ask their questions in the chat box. But we would love to see their faces and we would love, just to have a little bit of fun with them too.
Sounds fun. Sounds fun. Well, Issa from Senegal is already reaching out, so maybe you need a buddy in Senegal. Who knows?
Yeah, well, I can always do with more friends. I love to collect friends, as you know. So Issa, it's a pleasure to meet you. And it's wonderful to know that we've got people on from Senegal, Iraq. I think Miranda's on there from the Netherlands. So I think we've got a real kind of US, support, maybe some UK. I hope some UK people are on there.
Oh yeah. Neil's
some
here.
of my brothers and sisters.
Paul is in
Switzerland
the UK.
too. Oh wow, fantastic. We've got a right crowd.
Yeah, we've got a really international group. That's fantastic.
Well, actually, as Mary's just jumped in, so I think Mary should introduce herself and actually tell us where she is. Mary, over to you.
Yeah. So, how deep are we going into background? Are we GSD backgrounding it? Or
you can introduce yourself however you want. Yeah, obviously I'd love it to be a bit GSD at the beginning, but just tell us all about yourselves and that's just give back to the audience really.
So I think after this, I'll turn it over to Brittany to lay a little more foundation about GSD for those that aren't as familiar. But I got started with Brittany and the GSD crew back in September of 2019. And, it was really a driver for, wanting to engage in the industry, on a more agnostic level and in a level to drive change and to be more engaged and really follow our passions and, make sure that our interests and what was going on in the industry was being addressed and that we could engage to make it better. So my background, I actually work, my company MPAC, we do physical security product development. So outdoor off-grid systems. And I am actually in Jordan at the moment at our Middle East office. So
fantastic.
Yay from the Middle East.
Wonderful. So we've got someone from Iraq on there and obviously right next door in Jordan. So for our Iraq friend, I think Farouk, Mary is right next door. She is being a neighbor today. Broadcasting from Jordan. So thank you so much, Mary, for your little snippets. Britt, I would love for you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the GSD story, and then we'll go around to the other ladies. So Britt, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Mr. Lee and Mr. Phelan. My name is Brittany Galley. I'm the Chief Success Officer and co-founder of my company called Mobile Hub. We're mobile tracking and reporting for the deskless workforce, and including the security industry as well. And GSD started because of a vision that I had, really. And it was the fact that I had accidentally been surrounded by, I'll say, between 10 and 20 really amazing, brilliant people, and international as well. And I said, what would be the odds that we could get all these people together and collectively just help the industry? And that's kind of where it started to snowball. And I wanted it to be organic. And so my goal was really just to get them together and look at everything they've accomplished in even 12 months during a global pandemic. So the story continues, and there's going to be a lot from this group I know in the future. And some of my already dearest friends, I can tell you, are part of this. And we're looking for more. There's more people out there, including a lot of you probably that are on this call, that say, I want to help the industry and I don't know how, or I don't know what impact I can have, or it really needs help here. And you've identified it. That's all how we started. We just said, I want to help here and I can help do something. And so that's kind of the get it done part of it, right? Is let's not just talk about it. Let's actually get something done. So if you guys are interested ever in getting involved and having a support team like us behind you, let us know, because This is what we're here for. We're here to change the industry, be change agents of positive change, and grow this industry to what it should be.
Awesome words, Britt. Just on that, I'm going to plug all the way through. So if anybody is interested on anything that we talk about and that you hear or see, you can find it all on LinkedIn on the GSD company page. I'll also get Phelim to put that into the chat group as well, so that anybody who is interested in what they hear today or what they see or would love to get involved, then please drive your interest there. And one of us will reach out to you guys directly. Awesome stuff. In a minute, I will also go into why we created GSD and give a bit of value to everybody else. But first of all, I am going to hand over to Lisa.
Thanks, Lee. And hi, everyone. My name is Lisa Oliveri. I am a director of global safety and security for an international nonprofit organization. I am joining you from Virginia in the United States. And I was first involved with GSD. I was invited to the breakfast in 2019 and I missed it. I regret that, but they gave me another chance to join in 2020. So it's been a really great experience. And I'm so excited about this session because I am not a social media guru, but I have learned a lot from my fellow GSDers, and I've been trying really hard to be more savvy at it. And I think, Lee, I'm probably one of those more introverted security professionals out there. So I'm wondering if there are other people who are joining us today who are of that nature, and so it'll be a good discussion, and I'm happy to share any lessons learned along the way. But thanks very much.
Awesome words, Lisa. Powerful as always. And for those of you that are sat in the audience that feel a little bit shy, Lisa is the perfect example. And we spoke about this the other week, and I'll go into some of our products on a human side of security session. And Lisa is probably the optimum quiet professional who just works quietly in the background and just does amazing stuff. But we're so happy to have Lisa here. And part of this workshop is to encourage others who are maybe a little bit back in the background, who want to understand how they can accelerate their online performance. And again, how can they really get their brand out there? So that's one of the great things about that session. So Lisa, we commend your courage as always, and thank you for being here. We appreciate it. So Kelsey, over to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Lee. Thanks, Phelim. I'm super excited to be here. I am joining from Massachusetts in the United States. I have been in the security industry for 5 years or so, coming up on 5 years. I'm currently a regional sales manager at a global company based in Sweden. And I joined GSD last year in 2020 during the pandemic. So an awesome way and great opportunity to give back to the industry, especially as a young professional, because I think one part that really intrigued me about GSD was the thought leadership and the group of people that we have. And as a young professional, it was awesome because everybody needs a mentor and everybody needs that helping hand to get you involved somehow. And it's quite astronomical what this group can do. So I'm super excited also about the session because I think it's really important to build your brand really wherever you are, whether it's social network or in person, especially in this virtual world that majority of us are all still living in. So very excited, and stay tuned because I think it's going to be an awesome session. Thanks for having us. Cool
words as always, Kelsey. So as you see, Kelsey's one of our young professionals, and that's very important to us. And that's a message that we want to spread in GSD, is that we're all about diversity, inclusivity. We want to empower the whole industry. We don't just want to focus on one specific area, and it's important that we elevate all elements and accelerate, improve, enhance what's already in place. So Kelsey is, I think, one of 3 of our young professionals. We've also got Kaikishan and Josh. I believe that Josh is also in the audience. So we're super proud of the diversity that we've got in the group. And again, we encourage everybody to join us, and we want to elevate and give a platform to all of those powerful voices around the world. So now I am going to hand over to Matthew. Matt, if you would like to come up and give us a few words.
Sure. Thank you, Lee, Pelham, and my fellow GSDers now and soon to be. As my GSD colleagues had mentioned, this all began with an idea by, as I call her, M, those that are James Bond fans, Brittany, who brought us all together initially in Chicago on that street, I think it was a street corner, as far as collective passions that we all bring to the security field, not only from the young professional demographic, but also women in security, every piece of diversity you can think of, no matter what continent we're on. A little bit about me. I'm based in the New Jersey, New York metropolitan area. I am a private security manager, and I've basically dabbled in pretty much every type of security and ad hoc security over the last 12 years. What inspires me most about this group is that no matter where any of us are in life, I mean, especially with me just having my third child, I know John, I don't beat you with number 4. That's a really, they're always a welcoming group. And if there's one thing I have to say that this GSD group leverages as a force multiplier is we are not reactive. We are proactive. So just remember that, and we're always there to support everybody. Thank you all, and happy to be here. Thanks, Lee.
Awesome words, brother. And I love your focus on proactivity too. Just to shine a light on Matthew too. Not only is he, is he a newly, a new father to be, or just had a new baby. How many is that now? 3, you say? It's your 3rd baby. Congratulations, mate. But to shine a light on Matthew and on who he is an amazing servant leader. He is a part of many other associations and groups. So imagine that, this is an individual. Matt might be a little bit embarrassed with what I'm going to do now, but I don't care because he deserves it. But he does
proactively. I love it.
he does so much for everybody else, and he has got such a heavy workload and a busy lifestyle, but he doesn't allow that to get in the way. And he is, one of the first people that I always see on all conferences being involved, reaching out to others. And it's irrelevant in what place you are in the planet. If Matthew can help, he will help. So that he really oozes the mantra of what GSD really is all about. We are all servant leaders, and we are here to help you. It's nothing about us. It's not about elevating our brands or our personalities. We're not into that. We just want to give back to you. So I just wanted to, give a little bit of a applause and a pat on the back to my good friend Matthew. So well done, buddy. And congratulations on your new baby.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
So, pleasure, mate. So last but not least, okay, Mr. Stay Positive. And I'm loving that shirt because he knows that I love positivity. The one and only Mr. John Harris.
Hey, good evening, good morning, good day to all around the world. Super happy and excited to be here with you guys today. So I'm coming to you from lovely Minneapolis, Minnesota. I'm originally from the Washington, D.C. area, so near Lisa, where she is. I've been in the industry for about 15 years, kind of all over the place. I started out in the military and then went into college after that. Started out as a security officer and then went into security officer services and management, then went into like in-house security leadership, worked for an aerospace and defense company for around 10 years, did a stint in security systems manufacturing through business development. And after the last 2-ish years, I've been with a global security technology and compliance consulting company that's based out of DC. So what I love about this group is I knew almost all of these faces on the screen in separate ways, in separate organizations before we all came together. And so that was like the coolest thing, that when we started to create this movement, I'd worked with Lisa, I'd worked with Matt, I knew Kelsey, I knew Brittany, I got introduced to Mary and Lee really through this effort, but knew of them. So we kind of, orbited in each other's universe, but really hadn't been brought together yet. and Brittany and Lee can dive into that a little bit more in a minute. But that's what was so cool, because you saw these like-minded individuals out in the universe, and you kind of rolled by each other every now and again, and you're like, there's something here. And what actually the spark with me was at an event that Kelsey and Brittany and I were at here in Minneapolis, actually in mid 2019, I believe, where we got together. It was an industry event focused on young professionals, and Brittany and I were presenting, and we're like, we got to do something, and we just didn't know what it was yet, but we said, there's more to be done here, and it was really about this gap that we felt in the industry that needed some support and needed some help and movement forward, and getting back to what Matt talked about, it was proactive. And I won't steal Brittany's thunder, because she posed a question to us collectively when we were together in Chicago in 2019, and that was really the spark and the movement that pushed us forward. But to the topic at hand, I mean, one of the things that's been a force multiplier for us is leveraging social media, mostly LinkedIn for professional, but we do have other channels. We post our stuff on YouTube and on other podcast channels for the audio of what we put out. We have ourselves set up on Instagram and on Twitter to leverage those as we go. So we were proactive on setting those channels up, and we built this kind of comprehensive brand collectively of what GSD is. And we all kind of, have pieces and parts of that are unique to us, or that are collective. That's a thread through all of us. And we'll go through that in more detail. Lee will guide our discussion. But I mean, that was really, once we all came together and we're like, this is the thing, then we knew what that thing was. And then now we articulate that and push it out in all these different ways, and have this consistent, forward-thinking, positively disruptive mentality. And I think that is really the glue that holds us together. And I love being a part of it. And as I mentioned, like some of these folks, I think really like Lee, I don't know that Lee and I ever met in person. So our entire relationship, which has become a very close relationship, has been developed virtually. And so I think for those of you who are sitting all around the world, who are now today a part of this family that we're creating, then that just goes to show the power of virtual connectivity. And if anything good can come out of the challenges that we're dealing with under this current pandemic situation, it's this. Because who knows if we would have had this great opportunity should these challenges not have been put in front of us. So we're excited about it. We're happy to be here today. I'm stoked to have this conversation. So thank you for allowing us to participate.
You are the man, John. Thank you for your articulate, deep and positive words, as always. And I love the fact that you've brushed over some of our content that we're going to actually go into a deep dive. I'm going to give a quick thanks to everybody that's joined us so far. I believe we've got 22 people online with us, and that's fantastic. And we are very grateful for you to be here today. As I said at the beginning, what I would love out of this session is a bit of interactivity. Now, myself and my GSD crew colleagues, we've got a lot to share with you and a lot to talk about. But please, if you have any questions along the way, then please fire them in the chat box, so again that we can have that interactivity. I see that Lisa's already asked which social media platforms some of you are on. So please don't be shy. Throw in there any questions or queries or anything you would like us to talk about. I don't think I even introduced myself, but I think most of you guys that come onto these forums a lot already know who I am. But anyway, I'll do it quickly. So Lee Alton, COO and co-founder of Fortress Risk Management, GSD crew ambassador and influencer for the GSD crew, co-founder of the Kindness Games. So we're going to go into all of our products, deeply through this session and tell you all about them and why that we do it. And also what I'm going to do is that, my team are going to jump in and out, as they want to and as they feel they want to add value as we go through this session. So we've got a lot to go through. And I really want to kick it off and just say, look, how and why did we create GSD? Now, the how that goes down to, so the lady that made this all happen is actually at the bottom of my screen. I don't know where she sits on everybody else's, but the one and only Brittany Galley. Okay, that is the how GSD came together. And it started off with breakfast at Brittany's. Unfortunately, I wasn't there because at the time I didn't know Brittany, but if I did, then I guarantee I would have been there. But anyway, there was a few of the people that are on here were actually in that session. And why Brittany brought everybody together is because there was a lot of, I don't know, let's say a little bit of hostility, a little bit of animosity, a little bit of frustration. I think it's, it's okay to say that. And what Brittany did is that she brought everybody together at that table that she knew who really wanted to make a difference and who could make a difference with their powerful voices and their positions within the industry. So Brittany brought all of these rock stars together at that breakfast, and basically, she laid down the gauntlet. She put the challenge out there and said to every single one of them, literally, shut the F up. If you want to do something, let's all get together and let's get something done, right? Let's get security done. And that's what she did. And that's what everybody did. So that is how, GSD was formed and founded off of something such as simple as a breakfast get together, a group of people who are so passionate, who are so involved. And every single one of these people on there are, again, like Matthew, involved in many other associations, many other groups, okay? And they're extremely busy at work. Yet, again, they put that all aside. They wanted to get involved, and they knew that getting security done was the group to be. We're a family, we're a team of professionals. We all have big voices, but at the same time, we all give each other equal amounts of time to share their passions, share their needs, listen to everybody and see where we can really move this industry and get it going in a great direction. So that is the how. I've already brushed over some of the whys, and John, he kind of, dipped into the whys. We basically, there's some great associations out there. There's some great groups. Okay. There's some great companies that are doing some wonderful things. And this session is not to talk down or to throw mud at those groups. At the end of the day, what we want to do is we want to say thanks to those groups and associations because they gave us opportunities too. They gave us voices, and they still do now. And we are very integrated with a lot of those associations and groups, and we do a lot together. But what we wanted to do with the GSD was take some of the heavy lifting away from some of those associations and groups. Okay. Unfortunately, as you grow bigger as a company, as a group, sometimes it becomes a little bit heavy and sometimes a little bureaucratic, and we can't quite do things as quickly as what we want to do. So that was the idea. That was the why we all got together. We're like, hey, we've all got great positions within the industry, and removing our businesses aside, so who we work for, GSD has nothing to do with who we work for, okay? GSD is a separate entity. So we thought to ourselves, hey, we can all really impact. We can take a lot of the heavy lifting away. If there are initiatives that other associations can't do, we then say to those associations, hey, do you want to partner with us so that we can all get credit for this? If they say yes or no, or if they say yes, great. If they say no, it's still great. We just run with it on our own, because at the end of the day, we know that the industry needs and requires to be accelerated. Okay. We need to always be ahead of the pack. If you think about the security industry, we're all about being protective. Okay. But if you think about other industries technically are perceived to be ahead of the security industry. And we give the perception that we're reactive and not proactive. So again, a lot of the professionals that are within GSD, again, are super passionate, experienced, seasoned professionals who really want to get security done. just want to be involved and try and move things forward as much as possible. And again, what we're doing is not for ourselves, it's for you and it's for the industry. We want to make the industry bigger and better. We want students who are currently at university to look at the security industry and go, wow, that industry is super sexy, it's super trending, and I want to be part of that. I need to be part of the in crowd. So that's what we are trying to create, and we are creating. We're doing that right now. We've got some great brand elevation through the GSD. We're getting a lot of activity, and we're getting a lot of people that want to be involved, that have the hunger and the passion, to do something. So that's what we're all about. I'm going to ask anybody else within the GSD if they would like to add anything on the hows and the whys, ladies and gents, and from anybody.
Yeah, Lee, first of all, I don't think you've given yourself, first of all, more than enough credit. I think that I speak for every single person here. And again, me just being more or less the one thing about GSD is they love the GIFs, big GIFs, GIFs. 35 going on 90. I swear, I really gotta grow down a little bit. But yeah, Lee, your inspiration and your passion and your energy is a fuel for this collective fire. So that's something that I want to make sure we would be remiss, and I'm sure it's been mentioned numerous times. But yes, the red jacket army. I do not have, well, obviously a red jacket, but that's a separate sidebar. But firstly, Lee, thank you for everything that you do and those you inspire, especially me. The one thing I wanted to add was, and I was looking for the right time to put this in, and I figured this is the time now since we're speaking about proactivity. Who here knows who Paul Rubens is? And don't look it up. Does anybody know what his alter ego was?
People are Googling right now.
All right, I'm going to beat you all to it. That was Pee Wee Herman's real name. Now, again, I like to quote a lot of people that know me, especially on this group. I'm a big movie buff. And again, there were certain, things regarding that individual that we don't really, quote. But one thing he did say, for those of you who have seen him in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, was that, you can't wish and hope for something to come true, for a dream to come true. You have to make it happen. Don't let today's excuses be tomorrow's regrets. If you have a chance to join this industry, this group here, the GSD, if you have a chance to make a difference and inspire somebody, take it, because before you know it, you're not going to be able to have the chance to. So that's as far as, that quote. I mean, regardless of how silly it may sound, from where it came from, just remember that, proactivity wins every time. And just remember, the real reward is not making yourself happy, but making somebody else happy and being there for them. So thank you, sir.
Lovely words as always. That's what we're all about. We're all about encouragement, positivity, and kindness. Yes, I got it in there, the kindness games. Anyway, so what I'm going to do now is, because I want to make sure that everybody gets a voice and we get everything in, I'm actually going to move on to our next topic and talk about the GSD products. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through them quickly, and then probably what I'm going to do is I am going to hand the mic to Britt first after that, and then Kelsey, because I know Kelsey wants to talk on some of our products. So,
hey, Lee, real quick, before we jump into that, could we take a step back and talk about how we even came to start developing these products? I think there's a backstory that I want to tap on real quick. So
on you, bro.
March happens, the world locks down, and we go, man, now what? We were all going to get together at all these events. We had GSX, we had ISC West and East and Accelerize, and all these things were going to happen, that we had events planned to do stuff in person. Now it's all gone or up in the air. We just don't know. So actually we had an idea in April to say, let's do our own virtual event, like what you guys are participating in today, which now is like, oh yeah, everyone's doing that, but nobody was doing it then. Like nobody had that idea yet. And so we reached out to a couple of content developers to say, hey, could you help us create like a couple day long event? And the more we were thinking about that, we're like, man, that's a lot of work. Like we have our own jobs, we have family, we have, and we're still trying to grapple with, COVID. So we said, you know what? Let's make a series of videos. Let's do a couple of sessions. So we went from a big idea, and you'll notice a theme here when Lee starts getting into it. We went huge and then said, okay, now what's feasible, what's reasonable, and what's going to make an impact? And we brought it down from there. And then GSD Talks was born. And so that's kind of a background there from big idea to first thing we did. And so Lee, I'll hand it to you there. You can start diving through the evolution of our products and services.
I'll see what you did there. That was super smart and I love it. You basically set the stage, right? So let's talk about our products. So let's go through them quickly. GSD Talks, GSD Fails, the kindness games, the real kindness games, and the human side of security. Have I missed anyone out, ladies and gents? No, did I cover them all? I think I covered them all. And we've got a few more that we're going to launch very soon, but I will let other personalities talk about those launches. So, Brittany Galley, I would love for you to talk about GSD Talks. What is the concept behind GSD Talks? And what are we trying to do with GSD Talks?
Thank you, Lee. So GSD Talks really morphed from the fact that we felt as a collective that the industry was missing digital content online that people from around the world could access. They could access it in multiple languages. They could access it. It was valuable. It was hearing from top-down leadership, but also bottom-up leadership. So whether it's a talk from a speaker from the head of Allied Universal that's taking over the industry, right, across the world, or you're hearing from somebody who wrote the manuscript for enterprise security risk management, or you're hearing from somebody that can definitely change your life in the workplace. And that might be from a business acumen level. That might be from here's the do's and don'ts when you're negotiating salaries. And all of those are the topics that we said, God, we really need to help this industry progress, these young professionals, especially who are missing that mentorship. And we're also digital now. This millennial, I'll say millennials and even older millennials, younger millennials, Gen X, Gen Ys, Gen Zs, we're all very accustomed to YouTube. We're all very accustomed to that. So what we wanted to do was to get that out there via that channel, because we know if they can do it, you guys can share it with your friends, you can share it with your colleagues, you can translate it to different languages, but the content is still there and available. And coming from a background where, having 10 plus years now in this industry, it was really difficult to enter this industry. And especially as a female, but beside the point, it was very difficult to enter this industry because you knew no one, you knew nothing, you weren't sure where to start, but you knew that you had to go somewhere and you had to get to know people. And, having to force your way in was one way. Volunteering and raising your hand to help do even administrative items was another way. But really, I just wanted to know, like, where to go, what to do, what should I be learning, what book should I be reading, what should I be focused on in my professional career, what should I not be focused on in my professional career. So GSD Talks was kind of our first plug at industry knowledge, and that you'll see progress through the next year and 2 years, I think, based on different topics. Our topics in 2021 are insecurity and security, which is really being bold about yourself, understanding we all have flaws, understanding how to get through those, whether it's in today's job, whether it's in your job, or whether it's in your speaking. How great of a speaker are you, right? The second talks we're going to do is really about business acumen. So business acumen can either hurt you or it can help you, right? So we'll break down those in small chunks, digestible chunks, so people can do that. And then the third one is technology. We know this is a forefront. One thing that we're going to focus on very specifically is we're industry and association agnostic. A lot of associations these days plug in technologies that pay them money for sponsorship. That's not the way we roll. And we do that on purpose because it is not fair to progress an industry based on how much money you throw at it from a sponsorship level. So what we'll do is bring technologies that some may or may not see specifically to this group and this audience to say, hey, maybe you haven't seen this before, or this is the supreme product on the market, or this is really, we've done an analysis of 10. Here's really the top 3, right? And here's why. So you're going to see those from the GSD.
I'm just going to jump in to piggyback on that one point, Brittany, and just highlight that one of my favorite things about this group and about the people that we work most directly with is it is even individual agnostic. That, you know, I've gone weeks and months almost without really understanding what some of you even on this call do, because it's not what we bring to the table. We bring this industry knowledge and industry passion and technology and drive to move things forward to the table. So it isn't colored by the advertising or the self pitch or the company pitch or the sales aspect of it. So, you know, like Brittany said, it's, you know, we've all gone out and tested and said, you know, these are the really important points that we want to drive home. This is the cutting edge technology. These are the conversations that everybody's having. Let's share that instead of what serves me in my role at my company.
Yeah, and if I could tag on that, I mean, that's an important concept as you're looking how to represent yourself in the marketplace and on social media, right? So what we're talking about here today, so how do you build your brand? And I think one of the things that really makes us work well together is we've never, I've never said, I've never been pitching my organization. So Lee and Brittany and Mary own companies and organizations. They're founders, they're, COOs, CEOs, CSOs. Lisa and Matt run security organizations. Kelsey and I are service and product providers, right? But we're never sitting here going, hey, give me some business, or I'm not pitching Lisa my consulting services, or telling Matt hey, I could help you, rationalize your headcount and outsource your story. We never even have those conversations, and almost to our detriment, where we're we could probably be doing some business together, but we're like, all right, well, we'll get to that later, because we're so focused on serving the industry as a cooperative, that there's a selflessness to it. And so if you take that back and think about how you go out and represent yourself on LinkedIn or with your current clients or with state, wherever kind of place you come from, and all you're doing, I just had this conversation with a guy, new hire to our organization today, and he's struggling a little bit. And I said, look, if your main focus is to add value to the client, you'll never fail in a way that isn't going to be looked as a positive learning experience. If you keep that as your true north, you're going to be fine. So just always ask, what can you do to help? And always look at if you're working in the best interest of whoever. And I think for us, it's collectively, we're working in the best interest of the industry as a whole, not a single organization, not an individual, not a service provider, not an end user. It's just what is going to move the industry forward. And kind of that's a thread that you'll hear, I think, through all the stuff that we're talking about. So I just wanted to kind of expose that a little bit, because I think it's super unique in my experience of interacting with kind of groups of security professionals, that most folks would say, and that's why we don't even bring up our companies, because most leaders of our companies may look at it and say, well, how much revenue is GSD bringing in for our company, or what are you getting from it? And so, it's church and state for me, right? The two things are separate because they're different. But when I put myself out on LinkedIn, I'm John Harris, security professional, and it's all a consistent brand, regardless of who I'm representing or what I'm doing. And so, I think that's a key takeaway as we move through this, to keep that in mind.
John, and that's a really good point. And, one I wanted to jump in on that, I, like Lisa, am on the introvert side of things. So I'm not overly active on social media. I sometimes struggle with how much I really want to engage and really making sure I'm active or remain active, at least, to a moderate degree. But it doesn't always come naturally to me. But something through this process and, in the conversations that not only within this group, but this group has had with others, is the emergence, I think really with the millennial and younger generation, it's emerged the difference between, you're moving away from the professionals that have stayed at one organization for their entire career, and those that move around to build a specialty or to pursue interests. And so you're moving away from the professional organizational identity of the individual of, I'm John Smith and I work at Acme making widgets. That's who I am. You move into the, I'm John Smith and, I have worked at Acme, but I'm passionate about other things. You build this individual, personal, professional brand. And, I think that's what we're really trying to cultivate with a lot of our engagement is encouraging professionals to build their professional brand, explore their interests, and know that, just because you're working at one company that specializes in one area, you can use a lot of these social media platforms to expand your engagement across industries, across professionals, across a lot of these platforms, and not only develop your own interests, but develop yourself professionally for either staying within your role and expanding your scope of offerings and strengths within that position, but also should you be looking to make a transition or engage outside of that organization or that profession even.
Great words by everybody. I get mesmerized sometimes listening to all of you guys, and I forget I've got a job to do today, and I've got to make sure that I keep us on track. But I love some of the things that we've talked about there. Basically, collaborations, unity, being together. What we're trying to do for the industry, and I love how every single one of you didn't focus on yourself individually. In fact, you didn't even really talk about yourselves. You were so focused on giving back to the industry, and that's what the GSD is all about. Thanks to Britt at the beginning as well for explaining about GSD talks. That takes me on nicely to the next one, GSD fails. John Harris, would you like to talk about that, or would you like me to talk about that? It's up to you, buddy.
Well, I'll tee it up, man, and then I'll hand it over to you because I know we both share this as a passion area. So this came out as an offshoot of GSD talks, where so both Lee and I are very passionate about the concept of learning from failure, and that you never really fail, you just learn, and that the key takeaways of building, I'd say, newer concepts like grit and resiliency and the application to personal and professional success. It's not new, because if you go back and read, like Stoic writings, and back to Roman times and up through a lot of Churchill and Eisenhower. Actually, I'm reading a book on Eisenhower right now and a couple on Churchill that I was recommended by Lee. This is like a consistent theme, right? And so we're like, we reflected back to our own experiences, so we got to talk about this, right? And there's so much to learn and unpack here, because security is intrinsically a machismo, zero-sum, winners and losers industry. And we got to break, like, we're never going to get where we want to get if we continue to work in that area. So we decided to get really vulnerable, to talk about our failures, to break down those barriers and get other people comfortable with it too. And Lee, maybe you could talk about the first one that we had, because man, was that it didn't have anything to do with security, right? But that's why we wanted to bring in other things that were outside of the industry, to share the personal side, and then we can weave in why that's important to your brand as well. But why don't you talk about that a little bit, because that was a pretty emotional one for you and me and our colleague Tim Wenzel, who participated in that.
Super emotional. I think we cry on everyone, right? And
That's the intent.
yeah, I'm not scared to say that. I mean, it's about vulnerability, authenticity. You know, that's who we are, and we should always remove the mask and take off the armor, and show the real you. Stop lying to yourself, right? Look in the mirror and find out who you really are, who you truly are, and start walking that path. And that's why we created GSD Fails, because it's, for us, it's so powerful. John, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't our first one on domestic violence? If I'm right, was that the one?
That's correct. Yep.
Yeah. So
good question. Good question.
Yeah,
good question just came up on the chat. And to add to that is, how do you balance being vulnerable and sharing a fail with companies being paranoid about that effectively becoming whistleblowing?
Yeah, great question. Anybody want to handle that?
Let me just do one sentence to that one.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
George, excellent sentence. And Lee and I take for advantage sometimes. We mentioned this a while back on the call with the team, is that, you know, when you own your own company, you can kind of do what you want. But when you work for somebody else, you can't really do what you want, right? There's always a somebody in PR communications team saying, you know, these are the P's and Q's of being an employee at X company, and you must abide by them, right? To keep your job. You want this job? Here's what they are. So the point, one of the key strategies there is that you need, well, I should say this. One of the key strategies is it has to be positive progress. If what you're doing is not sharing positive progress, then you have no business doing it. And if, again, you point that at north and you go towards that and you say, you can always be able to defend yourself to your company that you are making positive progress in the industry. The goal is how to do that. Now, whistleblowing, without knowing, George, where you're going down this could be the Me Too movement. This could be, you know, bad behavior in the workplace. This could be all kinds of things. If you become an advocate for positive change, those whistleblowers will naturally find themselves, right? So all you have to do is just let the dogs out and sniff around. But I do believe that it really is up to us to kind of let some of these bags or these balls out of the bags, because I think that there really is opportunity for us to call out some of the nonsense that's going on in this industry, and others, of course, too. But the example is we had a GSD talks where a young woman, and I being on the chair of women in security, I've gotten several contacts have reached out and said, I'm being harassed at work by men, or I'm being harassed at work by my boss, or I'm being taken advantage of, or I'm being put in a political corner to have sex with somebody, blah, 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 blah. It happens. It happens a lot. It actually happens more than you think. And how do I get out of it? Right? What do you do? Well, I immediately got that woman on speaker track. And I said, I want you to talk about it. You know why? Because if you're the one that's it's happening to, it's happening to 25 others. So how do we fix it? Right? And that changes the world. It really does. George just commented, or even scratch whistleblowing. What about them being touchy about industry secrets coming out, like you failed?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting one. I mean, so we talked about that. We had a speaker,
and just to add, just John, before you do that, George, good point.
Yeah.
We had a speaker back out of one of the GSD talks because he says, I don't want to talk about my fails. I just want to talk about my successes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how you get cut out.
That gets to the. I mean, that gets to the point of all of this is that, and so if you go back and listen to the episode that Tim and Lee and I did about my failures, it was a crucible moment for me in the maturation of me as a person and a professional, and so that is, and I was lucky enough to have mentors and bosses at the time that understood the potential that I had and allowed me to recover from that. There's also your own mindset around that and how you know the self-talk, and there's a whole like line of you know psychology and thought process around positive mindset and how you frame activities and the gap between incident and response and how you manage that. And so you know it's a bigger discussion than just you know how do you talk about failure. and there's also a personal accountability piece too, right? So like if I have a job to do and I don't do it, I own it, right? So, but if I'm blaming and complaining and denying and pointing the fingers at others, then I'm not really learning. I'm just deflecting. So you really got to take a step back and do some inner work to understand how you're managing through that, how you interpret, the concept of mistakes and learning, and kind of and mash all that together to make it constructive. Because if your whole thought is, oh, like I got to get this under the rug because I might get in trouble, there may be some reflecting in the mirror that needs to happen. You also may be in a toxic place where you're looking at like, is this the kind of place I want to be in? Because can I even learn and grow and develop here? And so that's we've unpacked some of that discussion too, where we've said like, and that's why we're in this kind of safe tree with each other, where we have these conversations like, man, if my company told me I couldn't do this, or if I made a mistake and they were super punitive about it and said, you do that again, you're out of here, when it was really, just a learning development kind of thing, you may want to ask some deeper questions around that if that's an environment you want to participate in. So it's not like an easy like black and white yes or no. There's levels and layers to it, I think.
Awesome, guys. Kudos to George. What a great question. And look what we did with failure. Look how thought-provoking that was, and the audience interaction. So thanks to everybody that participated. Let me just share with what Miranda's just said, and then I'm going to pass it to Kelsey to talk about the kindness games. So Miranda says about failure, there are no failures, only learning experiences. Your best teacher is your last mistake. Miranda, we have a great friendship. I know you extremely well. You're like family to me. That's powerful. I love it. Thanks for sharing it. And thanks for sharing vulnerability too. I commend your courage. So awesome stuff. Kelsey, please tell us quickly, because we've got so much to cover still, about the kindness games. And you can also talk about the real kindness games. All right. So you talk about that too.
Awesome. I feel like Lee and Tim could definitely tell the story a little bit better, so I might tap on you to tell the start of the story. But the kindness games is kind of how I really arrived at GSD, to be totally honest with you. I joined the kindness games. For those of you that don't know it, it is an initiative that Lee and Tim Wenzel started, both part of GSD. And they just challenged each other or Lee one up Tim, we'll say, to spread kindness and positivity in the crazy distressed world that we are and were living in back. I think it started March, April, right, Lee?
The kindness games technically started in September, because this September coming, we're going to have our first anniversary. But hey, A for effort, Kelsey.
Right. All started with the challenge that Lee put out. No, thank you. But I think that it was awesome because really the whole purpose of it was to spread positivity, give back to those people that have helped us, recognize mentors and thought leaders that have helped us along our way, and also people that we just want to give thanks and appreciation to, because especially in this day and age, there's a lot of negativity. And if we can break that with some positivity, we're doing our part. So big thanks to Tim and Lee for starting it. And then really it's continued on. It's still going on. We have over, I think, 54 people that are involved in the kindness games. And then every other week we do like a scoreboard update to try to keep people engaged or re-engaged for those who may have fallen off a little, or people that have others that are interested. And really for me, it was just, I thought it was awesome to be involved with, because it sets you up for success for the day, and you're also spreading kindness and success for other people. So that is kindness games. Lee, do you have anything to add?
Britt wants to say something. Go on, Britt.
I was just going to say, I look at kindness games as an amazing movement that is, sparked industry-wide and even outside of industry-wide. And I think that I am not shocked that it happened. I am not surprised that you got 12 to 14 amazing brains together and something like this happened. And I think that's it, is you have to surround yourself with people that think like you, or have a common goal. And amazing things like the kindness games will just magically appear as an opportunity for you guys for people to take forward. So it really is about, I think, just surrounding yourself with that.
Awesome. Remember,
And it was a response. It was a response to overt negativity that we saw in the industry. So we got to this inflection point where we were trying to do all this good. We had really GSD fails had just emerged. We had put out a couple of those, and we were getting haters commenting negatively, and it was kind of a WhatsApp chat evolution of, how do I want to handle this? How do I want to kill him with kindness? And then Tim said, it's like the Hunger Games, but with kindness. That was the start. I mean, that was literally what it was. And then he's like, I'm going to post and like put Lee, on blast. And then they responded, and it went, as viral as like a thing like that within like our industry. And then we see people piling on and doing it. So it was this real organic response to people who were offended by what we were trying to do. And instead of us trying to negatively battle them and get down to their level, we said, let's just combat it with talking about how awesome all these other people are that we know. And let's go at it that way. And it became this amazing counterbalance to negativity out there. And you see people that, one, are kind of on the fringes of our industry, HR professionals, executive coaches, like things like that coming in. And then some people who have nothing to do with our industry, who are kind of 6'3s in a separation, who have seen it and said, this is awesome. We're gonna take this concept too. So that's when I look at it and see, again, capitalizing on social media in a positive way. And then we saw globally, Matt had to drop off. He had a call at the half hour, but his network, because he is very, very connected in global organizations through the industry, we had people like in Africa see it and jump on. And so we had this spell of international participation from our friends overseas, and it just was really awesome. So, and nobody, some people just come in and do it once, and it's kind of like a one-day kindness games, and then they kind of call it other people. The true usage, kind of true version of it is 30 days straight. I did 10 days and then fell off the wagon. So I'm like jumping back in to start up my second series on day 11. But I will say the streak, when I did 10 days, it was the most enjoyable thing I did all day. You really felt so fulfilled. And then just watching, when you call somebody out in a positive way on LinkedIn, and then you watch the swell of other people jumping on and agree. Just imagine how great that feels for that person. And a couple of times we've done it for each other, and it's a great, it fills you up. And I think that's the real key takeaway from that, is just how great it can make someone feel. And you don't know what's going on in some other people's lives today. It's such a challenging time. So imagine if you were really having a really horrible time, and that met you in the morning when you just that swell of kindness and love in your inbox. That'd be an awesome experience.
Well, I don't want to say anything else about the kindness games, John, because you've just rolled it all out there. That was just beautiful. Kindness games is just a beautiful journey. I encourage everybody to join the kindness games. Believe you me, you'll love the adventure that you go on individually and what you can share with collectively. I'll just say one thing. Remember, just helping one person is all what we want to do every single day, because then that one person, gets it, pay it forward. Just think about that. Always look for that one person that you can help. Right, because we still got loads to cover, ladies and gents. And as you can see, we all love to talk. I'm going to cover quickly the real kindness games and human side of security, Real kindness games kind of gets on to difference of opinions. So our other GSD crew members, Mr. Tim Wenzel and Keiki Shan, they have different political views and opinions on things on the world. But what we wanted to showcase within the human side of security was basically you should put your opinions, your thoughts aside, and that you should love one another, and always elevate each other. I think we've just been joined by the lovely Phelim as well. Is that because you want to talk about the human side of security, or?
Well, my ears pricked up and I thought, should I come back on the screen,
Well, hey, because you've come on the screen, why don't you share a little bit about your adventure and your journey with the human side of security? Bear in mind though, Phelim, we've still got loads of topics to cover, my friend. So keep it short and sweet.
Very short and sweet. Ad-libbing on various topics that are more within my purview than not is a great pleasure, because I am an event organizer, right? Yes, I've been to 220, I've organized 220 conferences, whatever, but I am still a generalist. So the human side of security gave me a platform to add my 2 cents. You're all talking about adding kindness online. Well, I can do that, but I can't realistically add something unless I add it in that capacity. So it's been really fulfilling for me to play with you guys and add value and deal with some real topics. Plus, hey, it's current affairs. Who doesn't like well, not all current affairs. We know about some of them, but you know what I mean?
Hey, beautiful words. And we got to sing together. Me, you, and Tim embarrassed ourselves, right? By singing. I think it was pretty terrible, that singing, right?
No, I enjoyed it. I thought it was great.
Well, you did well. Yeah, I can see that you were a choir boy when you were younger. Well, Tim was. Tim admitted that, right? Definitely.
I went to school with him, but I was not a choir boy. Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, no, but seriously though, I think it's adding something extra. There's enough content out there that says, "Oi, Mary, here's how to do your job," right? Who wants that? Like, there's enough stuff, which is why the kindness games it expands everybody's perception of each other. And as Tim said, and I quoted it, we get to enjoy each other. I know it sounds a bit weird that, but I kind of like
Steady.
it. You British folk, I swear to God. But the one thing is that I think, it also, the security industry as a whole is generally very militaristic. It just is. It comes off that vibe, no matter what it is. So, I mean, when I came into it from an outside perspective, it was like, why is everybody so like, we need to have a human to human conversation here. And I think the kindness games and insecurity and all of these things, this is going to provide an opportunity for us to break that barrier through the industry and say, look, we're humans. At the end of the day, we can all have a beer together. We can all have a conversation together. I care, whether your family's okay. You care whether my family's okay. We can be friends. It's fine. But let's also get stuff done without kind of that militaristic, it's not okay to yell at people anymore. It's not okay. Sexism, exclusion and no diversity. It's not okay anymore. It's not okay. We're here. We're breaking down those barriers, and let's go.
Great
Yeah,
words.
I'll leave you be.
All right. Thanks, Phelim. Mary, go on. Go.
Yeah, just to add to that, I think it's, it's such an important conversation that we're having right now. It's okay to be an individual. It's okay to be who you are. And, in these challenging times, I don't know of anybody that hasn't struggled in some way through 2020, whether it's, meeting the new demands of a job or with changing structure of a family, having to, have children at home, or, the introvert loving being home and being forced to, re-enter the workforce in a different capacity, or vice versa, the people that thrive on in-person engagement, just climbing the walls, whatever it is, everybody's struggled in some capacity. And, being able to be open about it and accept that and have open conversations with people, but also, within our professional or personal lives, accepting that we don't have to fit into a box because, that's what the industry looks like, or because that's what we think we should be. let your freak flag fly and be your unique shining star, be your unique person, bring your quirks, to the industry and to the benefit, often of everybody around you, and, be okay having that and approach it with kindness and acceptance and be open about it and build on that.
Lovely words. Be yourself, be the brand called you, I think is the real message there, and understand that we can blend professional and personal into the workspace, and don't think of that archaic comment that you have to keep your professional life at home. I don't believe in that. There is a time and a place, but again, for me, really care about people, really ask those deep questions of who they are. Anyway, because I'm conscious of time and we've still got a ton of stuff to cover, I am going to give the mic to one of my favorite ladies in this world so that she can showcase her personal story. And the reason why I want to give it to Lisa is because Lisa is a little bit more in the background than some of us, right? So I want Lisa to kind of empower, inspire, encourage maybe the people who are the silent professionals or the introverts that are a little bit concerned of what they need to do and how they need to approach their positioning online. So Lisa, can you share a little bit about your story and how you spread your social media content that suits your brand? Go for it.
Thanks, Lee. And if I start to go too long, just give me the cut it off sign. But thanks. I was thinking a lot about this coming into today. And so my history on social media has really been reserved to a personal Facebook page. I do have a personal Twitter account, but I don't post on it much. But I do use LinkedIn, and I've been active on LinkedIn for a few years now. I will say that I was motivated this past year in 2020 as I was engaging with GSD more and just getting a stronger sense that I wasn't leveraging LinkedIn the way I should be. And I've been attending, I don't know if other people on this call have been attending specifically webinars that tell you how to harness LinkedIn, that 85% of job recruiters are looking at LinkedIn, and it's such a powerful tool if you're looking for work, if you're looking to network. And I said to myself, I have to start challenging myself and getting outside of my comfort zone in just reading and liking people's posts. I need to start thinking about what message I want to send about the information and experience that I have. If I'm looking for input, I need to be more intentional about engaging. And so in August of 2020, I actually started tracking my different levels of engagement for posts, for people who were reaching out to connect, for my own success rate in reaching out to people that I was hoping to connect with. And I've been tracking, I've been more active about commenting on people's posts or engaging in conversations. And so it's been little things like that. And I've seen a big difference. And it's made me a little more confident that my voice has value in adding to discussions. And I think that's one of the things that this group, this GSD team has really encouraged me is that, yes, you can say something and people want to hear it. It's not being arrogant. It's not being a braggadocious. It's just sharing another voice, another perspective. And so I really appreciate all the people on this call right now. And then just to share a quick snippet about my experience with the kindness games, you have all highlighted so well, what it looks like and what drove us to do this. And for me, it took me a few months to get into it. And Kelsey and Lee and Tim, you're always so energetic and inspirational, but I'm not a real big video person. And so for me, I started thinking of ways that I could engage in the kindness games, and every post that I've been doing, and I'm almost done with my 30 days, I try and really highlight or share something that has a connection to the profession, to security, and also so that, I'm typing it out and it's just my way of being comfortable with how I'm engaging. So I would encourage others, if you're not familiar with the kindness games, if you're thinking about getting involved, John already owned up to the fact that he hasn't done it for 30 days straight. Do it however you want. it really does make an impact. I've had people reaching out, and it's so nice. It's so positive to have that feedback and engagement. So thanks, Lee, and I'm happy to engage with anyone who might be shy about posting things and sort of building up your personal brand online, but that's just a few insights on my experience.
Love it, Lisa. And why you are awesome, because you use the word braggadocious. Oh my God, where did you get that one from? That was fabulous. Wow. So this is what I love about this group. I have a secret name for Lisa. I don't think I'm going to use it right now. I'll keep that one. But she is one of the ladies that inspires and empowers me every single day, because again, I love how she positions herself within the industry, and we can all, learn from one another. That is the important message here. Again, don't think because I like doing videos, I like to talk, I enjoy being in front of the camera, that you have to do it too. Find what is passionate for you, what makes you feel good, what feels right, and just flow with it. I think Kelsey might want to say something. Kelsey?
I was just going to say that there's a question in the chat. What should we do to build our online brand if we want to do it alone? Do we have to piggyback on something like the kindness games? So I can take that for a second, and then I'll throw it to everybody as well. But I think building a personal brand and professional brand, they go hand in hand at the same time, and you're doing it without even realizing, or that's from my experience, right? So Lisa kind of hit on this, but kind of sharing your own story, finding interests. LinkedIn is a great way to start. I found you follow groups. There are groups and pages within LinkedIn that you can follow and share content. And I would just say, start by what Lisa said. Like posts, engage, comment on things. If you find an interesting article or you read a book, share something like that. And I know that this group definitely has other tips and tricks to add, but start small, and you don't have to go crazy. I'm with Lee. I'm an extroverted type of person, so I'll do anything, but it really is whatever you're comfortable with to start.
And I just dropped a link into the chat, which links to an article about your social selling index score, or SSI, that's on LinkedIn. And so if you go to that and you can, it's more for like, sales and like, business owners and things like that. But everyone has one, and it'll show you there's like 4 criteria, your professional brand, you find the right people, insights, and building relationships. And then it racks and stacks you against your connections, and then also your industry. And so that's a good starting point to go there, because that'll give you, direct, objective data that says, this is how our LinkedIn algorithms see you and your brand. So if you want to use LinkedIn as your brand creator, as an individual, that gives you specific stuff right there to say, this is where I stack up. And it tells you, like, if I'm low in this area, you can Google, like, how do I get up this score? And you can find a bunch of stuff around how to do that. And a lot of it is the things that Lisa and Kelsey just talked about, commenting on other people's, and not just commenting it, but the way you comment. So when I'm commenting on Lisa's page, I tag her or I tag someone else. So if you look at the way our GSD posts are architected, we have the post, and then in the comments, we tag a bunch of people. And that drives engagement for people to say, oh, well, like, Lee took the time to ask me what I think, so now I'm going to comment. And that creates an effect of more views, more engagement, and kind of more activity, which increases your connections, which all drives the algorithm that gets people looking at you on LinkedIn. So that's how and there's a ton of content out there on how to do that on Twitter, how to do it on Instagram, how to do it on, Facebook, whatever channel you're using. Ton of open source information for you to grow your brand, or develop more engagement, or do whatever you want to do for your own personal company, for you as an individual, or if you're sparked to start a movement akin to what we've done with GSD and kindness games and such, you can do it with that too.
Awesome words there, John. Kelsey, thanks everybody. George, fantastic question. I'm just going to end it like, George, just do you. Also, if you need anything, if you want any advice, reach out to us directly. Steve D'Onofrio has just sent in a question too. How important are long text articles for the SSI score? Are short regular posts okay? I'll answer that one quickly, Steve, because I want to get onto some other topics. Again, I think in retrospect, just be you. Yeah, really kind of do what works for you as well. I notice a lot because I literally spend every single day on LinkedIn. I bombard people with content. I tag people, and I think some people go, oh my God, Lee is on LinkedIn again on multiple different channels. But sometimes you get loads of audience engagement and some other times you may not. My point is, don't get too stuck up or stuck into stats, right? Because you may then become like a robot, and then like your videos may become very monotone and you're not really getting the message out. So, great news, guys.
Hey, Lee, I mean, there's something real quick on that though. Try different stuff, because we try different things, right? And we actually, not to like over program it, but I'm super analytical and metrics driven, so I couldn't help it. And we looked at like what type of clicks are we getting when we do this versus this.
Yeah.
For example, our first GSD talks were long form, like 50 minutes, and we looked at the data and said no one's watching after 12 minutes. So we saw our metrics, and we said we got to adjust. So we created audio long form and podcast and videos under 15 to 18 minutes. I also think, Lee, that your videos do better than your long form written. Exactly. Because people don't like to read stuff.
Yeah.
So think about that too, guys, and try different stuff for different people. I think it's an experiment. I'm getting at here.
And that's the great point. And this is why the GSD is such a cool group, because we love to debate about different things. Again, some of us are very analytical and data driven. And again, that works. Britt's put some awesome comments in there. Chuck Andrews has also put some great comments in the chat box. Less is more. I think Britt put earlier, quality over quantity as well. And again, we have really analyzed that data and what impact it makes. So in essence, we have really listened to the numbers, and we have shortened a lot of our content and our contributions. And again, what we try to do is when we do generate something, we really try to make it as impactful as best. Here comes our TikTok fan and biggest contributor, and Phelim is trying to get me to go on to TikTok too. Phelim, do you want to say a little bit about TikTok, and again how you're merging a lot of your LinkedIn content over to TikTok? Do you want to share a bit of that?
I mean, just briefly, you got to speak natively in whatever platform you're using. So don't just do something on YouTube and then smack it. I am guilty of doing that, right? I'm criticizing myself. TikTok, whether or not you think it's a national security threat, just be a bit realistic what you put there. If you're working an army base, don't put pictures. Don't use your Fitbit, all of that. But look at how people are creating raw and very, very fast content. I don't want you to go on Omegle and do some sort of live chat with some random stranger. That's not where I'm going with this. But TikTok is a long way from... it's exactly teenagers dancing in the bedroom, singing to a hairbrush. It's exactly that, but it's also doctor giving advice. It's also insurance man telling you about pitfalls. And it's also me having a little bit of an idea whilst on a walk and then telling people about it. So whatever you do, you can adapt it to that. You don't have to do any duets. You don't have to do any dances. And let's say TikTok vanishes tomorrow. Let's say it becomes illegal, it gets shut down. The skills you learn, and as John said, in tasting it and testing, that'll be invaluable. Like, you remember when long form content on YouTube was frowned upon? Everyone was like, long form content? Gary Vee talks a lot about his wine videos being way too long. Anyway, so that's me. I just figure you should all join TikTok, mainly because the organic reach is amazing, and I think that your LinkedIn endeavor will come to benefit you a lot. But anyone starting it, maybe in 6 months, LinkedIn is trying to turn people into followers, and if LinkedIn turns people successfully into followers, then you will have to pay to boost your post to get anywhere near the reach that you've got, no matter how many followers you got. So anyway, that's my little thing.
Well done, TikTok Phelan. Lovely words. I still can't get my head around it. Britt, over to you.
The other one to mention for 30 seconds, because I know that this is a good one, and John Harris is a good advocate of Twitter. Twitter's great. I personally find Twitter to be very negative. I think it's a platform to provide your opinion and your own opinion, right? Based on topics, not a lot of factual stuff going on. And or you have to filter it down to your views so much to really have factual things go on that it becomes, yours and your own news feed that way. But it's okay, to Charles's point. Yes, it's a Chuck Andrews. Thank you. It is a very useful, I'll say, for the one-hit wonder people out there who are trying to get things out, though, right? LinkedIn I find to be a better platform for collaborating, sharing knowledge, sharing jobs, sharing that kind of thing. And Facebook again is now a marketing and a group connection platform, I feel like. But I think LinkedIn can be leveraged more by people and thought-provoking conversations. So when I post something, it's generally a thought-provoking comment, or it's a helpful hint for the world in some way, shape, or form. And I found that with those two things, it's worked very well to not only get other influencers to like or comment on your comments, which will then spread it farther, but also that you end up gaining connections that you never knew you were like-minded individuals. So one tip there.
Powerful words, Brittany, and invaluable information that you've just shared. So also, why don't you tag some influencers too in some of your posts? That will help out your personal branding, and again help elevate your positioning on some of these social media platforms. I have some great news for the GSD crew and the whole audience. Our gracious host has extended our time, so thank you, Phelan. I appreciate that. I think because he saw that we all love to talk, and it's great to see that we are provoking your thoughts, and there are lots and lots of comments and questions and remarks coming in. I love what Miranda's just said. Mouth-to-mouth marketing is still the best. Good stuff. I love that. Everybody's flowing in now, so I can't really comment on that too much. So I think what I'd like to do is steer it onto a different topic. And what I would like to talk about right now, and maybe Brittany is going to be the best one to talk about this and highlight the future of GSD and what is coming next, and what are we going to be excited about, and again, how can we really help and impact the industry? Britt?
Yeah, so I think, like I said, what we've come up with is a few things in 2021 we're going to focus on, which is insecurity and security business acumen for security professionals and technologies. And I think, going forward, our biggest thing is how do we create a platform where everybody can speak and everybody can connect? So that's going to be our goals in the short term, is getting the thousands and thousands of people out there who are industry and or association agnostic that want to collaborate, want to build, and want to progress in a quick manner. We need to build that platform for them. We're going to take that upon ourselves. And Lee's on mute.
Sorry, someone was sending me a message, so I had to respond to it. So I do apologize. Would you like me to announce some of the other cool things that we're going to do, like the book? Would you like me to announce that, or would you like to do that?
No, so we were asked by a select few individuals to put together a book, if you will, of not only how we got together, but also what we hope to accomplish and what we've learned thus far, and then also some security information, right? So, and we've actually been approached now by several people and several entities to really collaborate and say, put this down. put this down so people can read it, or people can put your stories together. So this tells us how to break into the, break in the industry, how to excel in the industry, how to do these things. So we'll go ahead and you'll see that coming out soon.
Fantastic. And also we are currently creating our own website too. GSD is going to have its own website, and we will launch that in the future. For now though, if you have an interest in GSD, watching our content, getting more involved, again, I will drive your attention to LinkedIn and our company page, Getting Security Done within LinkedIn. We have just had a request, and somebody would like to come to the stage. So Phelim, please could you invite our special guest to the stage?
Yeah, and in fact, 2 people put their hands up. So
okay,
I think
if 2 people want to come to the stage, then bring them on, buddy.
Yeah. One person may only arrive because the other one may have just lifted their hand up. But let's have a look. Miranda, you wanted to join?
Did I?
Miranda's like, no.
Oh, okay. Sorry, no, you just had your hand up, but I thought you wanted to say something.
Oh, probably did that by accident. I'm sorry. I'm so enthusiastic.
No, well, it's great to welcome you. You've been here all day, so thanks very much.
Sure.
I saw, hey Miranda, great to have you, and I'm glad that you're here supporting us as always. I know that you are a rock star, over there in the Netherlands and globally, and I know that you get involved in so many things. So we appreciate what you do for the industry, and again, all of the voluntary and support work you do. So thanks to Miranda.
Oh, my pleasure. Always here for you guys.
Thank you so much. I believe that there was a question from Iraq just a minute ago on technologies, but I think the question's disappeared. Did anybody pick it up or see it?
Yeah. Laith, who's a big, long-standing participant to these events, which is great. He says, "What about markets that are very young and still not very poised with technology, like Iraq?"
Well, I don't know whether I'll give this to Brittany too, because she might want this one too, so she can talk about technologies.
I just responded to her. I said, or him. I'm sorry. Was it her?
It's a guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just saying, you need to be, if there are no technologies out there, then it's up to you, I feel, to be that bridge, right? So just saying that question is great. So let me know how I can help you and empower you to then go spread technology knowledge over in Iraq. If it's not there, then that means there's an opportunity. And there's a position for growth and progress, right? You just need to then put a plan in place to have that position for growth and progress and get that going. In which case, you now know 8 people right here that are more than willing to help you spread that knowledge and those learnings and those technologies. So reach out to us.
That's exactly it. And just to add on that, having some experience in the Middle East where, different areas of technology, maybe ahead or might still be in the development phase. I've had a lot of really good luck, particularly through social media platforms like LinkedIn, to reach out to other professionals in the industry that might have experience. And I tend to be very shy and apprehensive to reach out, but usually it's received very well to just shoot somebody a message and say, hey, I'm interested in this area of technology or this subject matter that you have experience in. Can you teach me more about it? Or can we talk about it? Or, tag them in an article, or, are there resources you can point me towards that I can engage with? So, the industry is usually very, very helpful and engaging if you just reach out. And, again, like Brittany said, there's a whole, team of people here that would love to connect and, be a resource to the extent that we can. And I do have to pop off, but thank you all. It was wonderful being here.
Hey, thank you, Mary. You're awesome. Keep safe, keep healthy, and we look forward to seeing you back stateside soon. And again, thank you for your contribution on this session.
Bye, everybody. And again, I put my LinkedIn, but search online. Would love to connect with everybody.
And you can join Discord, Mary, whenever you like.
Oh, great. Thank you. I'll hop on.
Great stuff. Yeah, just one more for Laith. This is a challenge and a bit of encouragement for you. Why don't you be the trailblazer in Iraq to start that thought provocation about technologies, and again, how you can, encourage more use of technologies. Us that are on this call, we are great lovers of technology, and the convergence, of technologies, the paradigm shift, how technologies complement, physical security, enable the industry on a whole. And again, what technologies do is an integral part of the overall security ecosystem. So for us that are, GSD crew members and, people like Chuck Andrews, that are in the audience too, we're huge advocates and lovers of technologies, and understand the positioning and what place, again, that they have in the ecosystem. So Laith, I encourage you to be the trailblazer in Iraq, again, to, start getting that dialogue and those conversations going. And if you need any support or help on that, please contact any one of us directly. I know there's only 4 of us on here now, but I'm sure, if you reach out to us again on the GSD LinkedIn page, any one of the GSD crew will reach out to you individually. So thank you so much for that question. Now, obviously, we got given a little bit more time, so I truly appreciate, what the extra time that we've been given by Phelim. So thank you on that. I suppose, we do have some more topics that we could talk about. One thing I would like to do is start encouraging the audience if they have any more questions. So again, that we can give you as much value from this session as possible. I'm going to mention some of our allies, technology allies that support GSD crew and getting out our content. So a huge thanks to Leo Des and the Inside Access Control team, Mandy and Bert and their group. You guys are awesome. You guys put out such wonderful content for us. I think we do the easy part and just recording it, and you guys do all the difficult, painstaking stuff, and you have to put up with piecing together everything we do. So we thank you for your loyalty, your commitment, and your hard work towards the GSD crew and the GSD brands. So thanks very much to you guys. Also, I'd like to thank CTG Intelligence and Phelim. Phelim, you've become a close friend of mine, and I really appreciate everything that you do for us. I appreciate the human side of security content that you're sharing. I appreciate you offering to help with new ventures that we're looking to put together, supporting potentially an upcoming ladies group that is going to come out soon with the GSD crew. So thank you very much to Phelim, CTG Intelligence, and everybody within that group. As my good friend Chuck Andrews is on here, thanks to friends of Chuck. Chuck, you're always commenting, supporting, lifting up our posts. So we appreciate that. Also, Chuck, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, because the friendship that we have, for coming on the human side of security, showcasing your vulnerability last week, again, showing people how to remove that mask, to peel off that armor, to stop living the lie, and live the brand called you, and always do you. So thanks very much, Chuck. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Also, to all of the associations out there that support us, as is OSAC, IPSB, Conversations in Close Protection, Chris Story and Chuck Randolph. Thanks, for your contributions to the GSD crew. Thanks again for recording me for 2.5 hours on a podcast. I expect you made a lot of people happy over the world, because that send them off to sleep very nicely. But thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for what you do for the industry on a whole. And again, I appreciate the diverse conversations, the context, and I certainly appreciate people all of our allies, that are trying to push the boundaries, challenging the normal, removing shackles. I could go on and thank a lot more of our allies. Have I missed, Innovation Nation, Security IQ? Thank you again for inviting the GSD crew on, and anybody that has been on any of our sessions, that's done GSD talks, GSD fails. Appreciate it. Thanks to everybody that's contributed to the kindness games. Let's keep kindness going. Let's encourage everybody to keep being positive. Let's strip away negativity. If people are negative to you, try and lift them up, share them positivity, as John is just showcasing. Stay positive. Me as an individual, I live the choice lifestyle of positivity every single day. That doesn't mean that I don't have negative thoughts, but I strip it away, and I keep moving forward. As I say, fail fast, fail forward, fall forward. That's it on the allies. Anybody from the GSD crew that would like to add any additional comments in the audience too? If you've got any other questions, I'd like to start closing this up. Lisa, Matthew, John, anything from you guys?
I would say, if I could put it all in one, just don't procrastinate. That's the most important thing. Don't procrastinate, and don't be afraid to be transparent. And as you said, Lee, you learn to, failure is just a part of life. And, you're going to meet very unfavorable people. And if somebody were to say that this is easy, I can tell you for a fact, you will, again, don't take this so harshly. This is to everybody, but you're going to fail. I mean, that's just the matter, as humans, we're imperfect. But just remember, would somebody want to read a book on your life that everything went well? Or would they want to read it where you went through trials and tribulations and whatnot? So, again, thank you everybody for everything, and let's get it done.
Great words.
And to piggyback on that, I'd say if you're not failing, are you trying hard enough? And when I think back and look at why I made certain pivots in my career, for instance, it's because I didn't feel like I was challenging myself enough to do something new and different. And when I first moved into those new roles, I did make mistakes, and I did have challenges with the concept of, am I a fraud? Did I get in over my head, right? And kind of that negative self-talk that creeps up on you. So self-awareness of that is like the number one thing where you can manage that inner dialogue and decide, like, what are you going to say to yourself? And secondly, I'd say, you are exactly where you're meant to be right now. And if you haven't charted out a course to where you want to be, then you're never going to get there. So think about what you want to do in 10 years. Think about what you want to do in 20 years. That's not crazy to have that type of projection out to say, I want this. And then what is it going to take to get there? There's kind of a quip that I heard recently, more people plan with greater effectiveness for a 2-week vacation than they do for their life. So, how much effort do I put into what suit I'm going to bring when I go on a business meeting versus how much focus on what kind of success I want in my life. And then when you do that work, that leads to this. That gets you to, like, what's my passion? What's my brand? What do I want to be about? Do you have a personal mission statement for, what you want John Harris to be, what you want you to be? So for instance, mine is broadest possible positive impact, leaving a wake of greatness. That's it. And if it doesn't flow under that, then I don't want to do it. So think about what you want to be about, and then create actions that are in line with that, and then go do it and learn while you're doing it. And then bring other people along for the ride and add value, get people on your bus, move in a positive direction. And like, this is 10 years of like me figuring it out before I started this adventure that I'm on now, and really started moving this. So this wasn't like I woke up one day and was like, I'm positive, this is awesome, let's go to work. Like this was an investment of effort and peeling away some of the challenges and issues and kind of self-limiting activities and mindsets that I have. It does take time, but the best time to start was 10 years ago. The next best time to start is now. So if you want to talk around, how, and in different ways and different perspectives, like all of us have done similar things and can talk about this. So we'd love to continue these conversations. We have a weekly catch up that we do as a GSD crew once a week, but we also have activities outside of this. And again, text message, email, LinkedIn, all that. We're happy to collaborate and communicate with you guys. So don't be strangers.
Great words, John. Moving and powerful as always. And great stuff from John too, is that thinking about that, guys, look, if you've loved this session, if you didn't think it was valuable too, we want the feedback, right? We want to do better for you. We want to make sure that the industry progresses, we keep accelerating, we enhance what's already in place. So we don't want you just to pat us on the back and say, hey, great stuff, guys. We also want you to be constructive with your feedback. And again, let's push us, let's challenge us, let's encourage one another to keep working harder. I love the catchphrase, hashtag bigger and better. That's what I'm always going for. Lisa, I know that you have some pearls of wisdom that you would like to share. So come on down.
Well, it's always a hard act following you three, but there were two things that came to mind as I was trying to think about some practical tips that I've come across. And the first is, it reminded me of when George was talking about making that balance between, personal, professional, and how that plays into your brand. And so I would say, just be mindful about what you're liking and what you're commenting on these social media platforms, because especially if people don't know you, they may look at your activity, your posts, etc., and make a judgment call as to whether or not they want to connect with you. And that's there for a long time. So just make sure, I think anything you engage with, it'll age well, and you'll be proud that you were still taking that position or sharing that article or that post, etc. And the second thing I just wanted to share is that I know that there are a lot of different opinions about when people reach out to you and they message and they might be giving you a sales pitch, etc. And that, I know some people get annoyed with that, but as this team was just talking about, everyone learns and makes mistakes or, has to fail. So I try and still engage and be kind, and just, even if I'm not interested, just let them know. And if I think it's a teachable moment. I think it's still a way to preserve a potential, professional relationship down the line. You never know if you're going to need that service or something. So just keeping that kindness in our minds as we're engaging with people who may not be as adept at it as others.
Great words. I love that too. Because I always see a lot of, let's put it, a lot of hater comments out there when people are bashing people trying to make sales pitches. Remember, those people have got a job to do. They need to put food on the table as well. So again, if you're not interested, thank them, for their approach, wish them a great day. If there's something that you can help them with too, if you want to give them advice on how they can approach something, then share that with them too. Lisa made some great points. Try and be kind to everybody. Yes, sometimes those messages are unwelcome and unwanted, or that's how you perceive them. But again, make sure that you give them the airtime to the platform. And try and help them, because also you may not want to buy something, but you might know somebody that does, and you can help them, point them in a different direction. And again, what you're then doing is, you're paying it forward, should we say. So great tips and advice there, Lisa. Really appreciate it. Ladies and gents, we're going to start calling this session to an end. Phelim, I don't know if you want to join us back on the stage for last comments. Any questions from the crowd? Is Phelim there? Or has he gone to sleep? Phelan, are you there? I think Phelan might be busy. Yeah, so I'll say, so anybody in the crowd, does anybody have any questions or any further topics that you would like us, just to discuss quickly, before we close this out? So, or if any of you would like to join us on the stage too, you're more than welcome. I think that is a negative.
Sound like you can't find us.
No, exactly. But I suppose a huge thank you to the bigger audience is required here. Yeah, we truly appreciate the fact that you've taken time out of your days, to come and listen to us. And we hope that the information that we've shared, comments, opinions, have been thought-provoking and helpful and supportive to you and usable, and that they will add value to your daily lives. Every single one of us are, when we say our doors are open, we truly mean that. We do have an open door policy, and we encourage you guys to walk through those doors, to come and see us, and to ask us any questions that you want. We have this vision, in building not only just a bigger and better security industry, but helping humanity on a whole. That's why we created things like the kindness games, so that it wasn't just focused on the security industry. Why we're sharing failure and vulnerability. We really want to impact everybody in a really deep way so that you can get some value. We also understand that a lot of people are being challenged at the moment, with mental health and being cooped up. Again, if you know anybody that suffers, be a friend, reach out, check in. I'm a big advocate of supporting everybody, show everybody that you've got that love for them, that care and consideration, and just try and, again, accelerate forward to the new norm. I know a lot of people are struggling, and I empathize with you all. I know it's tough times. We're in this together, right? And remember that you can message any one of us, even if it's outside of professional advice. We will take the time to pick up the phone, whether it's for 5 minutes or whether it's for 2 hours, because we appreciate the fact that you've taken the time for us today. We are more than willing to do the same for you. So that's really all I've got. I'm glad Phelan joined us, because I was kind of running out of things to say.
I think he's got a new tie on too, Lee.
Is it a tie change?
No,
Is
it's
there
the
a
same
tie
one.
change?
I felt this said workshop,
Oh, right. Okay. Well, you're dressed to impress, as always.
Yeah, it's difficult. Everyone who's formerly been in offices probably has far too many office attire things, and you never get to use them. You know that dog on TikTok that says, "I like this because it's something I would wear, but I can't wear." Is it just me? No,
just you, bro.
Ah.
Maybe.
Oh, man.
Maybe somebody knows.
Oh, well, doesn't matter. It's funny. I'll send it to you. But this is a great session, and I think it's very important because, again, we do have enough content based on, oi, Lee, here's how to do your job better. That's got a time and a place, but at this particular time in our lives, within this environment, we do need a pep talk. We do need a community, and we need to invest for the upturn. And what better way than to perhaps invest in being kind to other people?
Yeah, couldn't agree more, mate. This has been a great, I took a lot of positives out of a really tough 2020, and I'm still taking all of the positives out of a challenging still 2021. And that's what I'll always empower and encourage everybody to do. There is a silver lining. There is a new world that's being created. We as humans, just need to enjoy, every day, and do as much as we can to support one another. For those of us that have more than others, please help out the less fortunate. Even if it's just buying someone a loaf of bread or sharing a coffee or opening the door. I know a lot of those things may sound cliched and a bit ageist and old school, but they really do count. And you really can lift up someone's day and kind of take them on a positive and enlightening path. Phelim, we appreciate you, mate. We thank you for giving the platform and the opportunity to the GSD crew and allowing us to share our journeys and our experiences. We love to remove our ego. We're not saying to anybody that we're right. We're just trying to share what's worked with us. Again, our failures and our successes.
Thank you. I think I know a great thing when I see one, and I'm seeing it now.
Thanks, brother. We appreciate you. And I look forward to appearing tomorrow to talk about Mexico and the operational challenges that we have over there. And again, thank you for inviting me on that one too.
Absolutely. And I do hope you'll stay all the way tonight to see our Australian friends who probably are right fast asleep at the moment, but they are going to be waking up. I know they will. So this is fantastic. We're going to move to our threat modeling workshop with James Bohr, but Lee, Matthew, Lisa, John, and before Mary and Brittany and Kelsey, this has been a fantastic session. Thank you ever so much. Give them a round of applause.
Thank you, Phelim, and Lee as well. And
thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful day.
Be safe,
kindness
everybody.
counts.
Yeah.
All the best.
All right. Take care.
Awesome. Well, stick around because we are very, very pleased to have what is an exceptionally important workshop and topic for the world of physical security, which is threat modeling. We have our great friend, James Bohr, Director of Bohr's, who is a frequent contributor to the Circuit magazine. And James is going to be talking us through threat modeling, especially for the world of corporate security and CP. It's all too often easy to say that perhaps this is the preserve of the cyber world, but of course it's not. And more and more people are actually asking for this particular skill. Do you have it? That's maybe something I can put to you. Do you have it? James, lovely to see you. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. How's